Hey everyone, welcome to today's video where we're diving into the epic world of King Legacy and ranking all the swords from best to worst. If you're wondering which weapon should be your go-to or curious about how your current sword stacks up, then stick around because I've got you covered. From the powerful game-changing swords to the ones that, well, you might want to leave in your inventory, I'll be breaking it all down for you. So grab your favorite blade and let's get into it. Now, before you go off swinging your sword like Zoro in a battle, let's take a quick look at what makes each weapon stand out. I've tested them all, and trust me, some are just straight up legendary, while others, well, might need a little work. Whether you're after insane damage, special abilities, or just that epic look, this tier list will help you choose wisely and hopefully avoid the "why did I equip this" moment. Alright, enough talking. Let's get to ranking these bad boys. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking weapons in King Legacy. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: katana, tashi blade, barbaric axe, pipe, mini mace, and pole. Alright, let's get one thing straight. If you're using these weapons in King Legacy, you're probably better off just throwing hands. I mean, who needs weapons when you've got your fists, right? But hey, if you're feeling particularly nostalgic for the early game vibe, or just want to get that "I'm trying" experience, then buckle up because we're diving into some of the most underwhelming weapons in the game. First up, we've got the katana. This is a common weapon, and you can grab it from the katana dealer for a measly $5,000. Now, don't get too excited, its M1 attack deals a solid 1,506 damage without haki. Sounds good, right? Well, it's about as basic as you can get. It's like the starter pack of weapons, and honestly, it's kind of like using a stick you found in your backyard. It looks cool, but it's not going to do anything special to get you ahead. Next, we've got the tashi blade, which is an uncommon weapon you get from, guess who, Tashi. It also dishes out the same 1,506 damage as the katana, but now we've got a slight twist. It has a white sheath, that's it. If you're trying to look cool while barely making a dent in your opponents, this is your go-to weapon. The tashi blade might look a little more elegant than the basic katana, but it's still stuck in the same "I'm trying but not quite succeeding" category. Now, let's talk about the barbaric axe. This one's another common weapon, and you'll find it with the barbaric. For $1,000, you get yourself a little one-handed axe that's not really going to win you any popularity contests. Sure, it's a weapon, and yes, it can deal 1,506 damage, but when you're swinging around something that looks like a child's toy axe, do you really feel like a barbarian? Not unless you're really into role-playing as a caveman. And then there's the pipe. Yes, you heard that right. The pipe. You can buy this thing for a whopping 500,000 from the pipe seller, and its M1 attack also deals 1,506 damage. But for that kind of price? I mean, sure, you're hitting people with a pipe, but it's hard to feel menacing when your weapon looks like it belongs in a plumber's toolkit. It's just so underwhelming for that price tag. Finally, we've got the mini mace. This common weapon can be purchased for a whopping $3 million from the mini mace seller. What do you get for that kind of cash? Well, it's a mace with spikes. Cool, right? But there's a twist. Its M1 has a special effect where, on the 4th consecutive M1 hit, you smash the weapon into the ground. Honestly, that sounds a lot cooler than it actually is, considering the mace itself is still pretty weak overall. If you're hoping for a powerful impact, you'll be sorely disappointed. In conclusion, these weapons in King Legacy are the kind of gear you pick up when you're feeling too lazy to grind for something better. Sure, they have their moments, but at the end of the day, you're going to be wishing you had something that doesn't make you feel like you're playing an early beta test. So unless you're going for that nostalgic "I'm just starting out" vibe, skip these and move on to something that actually packs a punch. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: gold spear, Anubis axe, adventure knife, and sunken blade. Alright, so now that we've covered the heavy hitters and those flashy S tier weapons, let's dial things down a bit and talk about some of the weaker C tier weapons in King Legacy. These are the ones that you probably don't want to be holding onto for too long, especially once you get into the mid to late game. But hey, they still have their place in the early stages. So let's dive into these less than stellar weapons, shall we? First up, we have the gold spear. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, it's gold, so it must be good. But unfortunately, that's not really the case here. This is an uncommon weapon, so it's not the rarest thing in the world. Its M1 attack dishes out about 1,506 damage, but that's without any haki buffs. Sure, It looks pretty cool, like a spear with 2 shields back to back at the top, but once you start unlocking better weapons, this one feels a little underwhelming. It's a solid pick for the early game, but you're going to want to swap it out as soon as you can. Next, let's talk about the Anubis axe. This one is also an uncommon weapon, and it also delivers 1506 damage with its M1 attack, no haki involved. I'll be honest, it has a pretty cool fantasy Egyptian vibe going on, but when it comes to raw damage output and effectiveness in the later stages of the game, it doesn't quite make the cut. It's got that big, intimidating look, but don't let it fool you. The Anubis axe is more about style than substance when you're facing stronger opponents. Now, if you're in the mood for something smaller, we have the adventure knife. This rare weapon is a little more understated but still packs a punch, 1291 damage on its M1 attack. Not exactly game-changing, right? But if you're just starting out or trying to save up for something bigger, the adventure knife could work for you. It's tiny, it's sleek, and it's got a gold-plated leather handle, making it look like it could belong to some treasure-hunting adventurer. Still, as much as it looks cool, it's not going to carry you through those tough late-game fights. Last but not least, there's the sunken blade, another rare weapon. This one gets a little extra credit with a 1621 damage M1 attack, higher than the gold spear and the Anubis axe. It's got this elegant rapier design with a coil-like sheath that definitely gives it a stylish vibe. But even with the slightly higher damage output, it's still not going to be enough to compete with the bigger guns once you get further into the game. It's perfect for the early stages when you're just starting to figure things out, but after that, you're going to want to upgrade. So yeah, these weapons have their uses early on, but they're not going to be the ones you rely on once you get deeper into King Legacy. They're definitely fun to mess around with, but don't get too attached to them. Keep an eye out for those bigger, better weapons as you level up, and remember, it's all about upgrading to stay ahead in the game. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Cookie Sword, Metal Trident, Shark Blade, Saber, Authentic Mace, Pondery Blade, Hunter Blade, Triple Katana, Mum Blade, Jitter, and Demon Trident. So, you've probably been grinding in King Legacy for hours, collecting all those sweet weapons, but now you're stuck looking at some that are just, well, average. No worries, today we're diving into some of the B tier weapons. These aren't the absolute best, but hey, they can get the job done and might even surprise you in the right hands. First up, let's talk about the Cookie Sword. It's an epic weapon you can snag from Biscuit Man. Its M1 attack deals 1506 damage without haki. Honestly, it's got that classic sword look, but with a quirky twist. Its handle is shaped like a cookie. I mean, who doesn't want to wield a sword that's basically a dessert? It's not going to win any awards for flashiness, but if you're a fan of keeping things simple and sweet, this one's for you. Next, there's the Metal Trident, a common weapon dropped by Dough Master. It's not the strongest weapon in the game, but its M1 attack still dishes out 1635 damage without haki. The design is pretty straightforward, a heavy trident with a wooden handle. It's perfect if you're going for that "I'm a warrior, but make it metal" vibe. It's not groundbreaking, but it's solid, especially for those starting out. Now, if you're someone who wants a little more bite to their weapon, check out the Shark Blade. This uncommon weapon drops from Sharkman and packs an M1 attack of 1506 damage. It's got a cool aesthetic with 6 shark tooth-shaped blades on one side. It's got that "I'm here to make a splash" energy, but don't expect it to change the course of your entire battle. Still, it's a fun one to swing around if you like the idea of a weapon with a bite to it. Moving on to something a little more prestigious, the Saber. This legendary weapon can be obtained from the Expert Swordsman, and it brings a solid 1506 damage per M1 attack without haki. The design is straight out of a pirate fantasy, with a green handle and a sleek blade. It's not as powerful as some other swords, but the whole pirate aesthetic? Chef's kiss. If you've ever dreamed of being a pirate, this is the sword you've been waiting for. For those of you who want a weapon with a bit of oomph, the Authentic Mace might catch your eye. This epic weapon is dropped by Dragon, and it deals 1721 damage per M1 attack without haki. But what really sets it apart is its special effect. After 4 consecutive M1 attacks, you slam the mace into the ground in a big, satisfying smash. It's got that raw power you're looking for, but it's a little slow, so you'll need to time it right to really get the most out of it. The Pondery Blade is next on our list. This rare weapon drops from Pondery and deals 1463 damage per M1 attack without haki. It's kind of like a sword inside a cane. Pretty cool, right? It's not the highest damage dealer, but if you like the idea of having a weapon that's sneaky and sophisticated, this is the one. Just don't expect it to outshine some of the heavier hitters in the game. Finally, we've got the Hunter Blade. If you're a bounty hunter in King Legacy, you might want to aim for this legendary weapon, which you can get by reaching a bounty of 10,000. It has a hefty 1,721 damage per M1 attack without haki. It looks like something out of a dark fantasy, black greatsword with golden skulls on the handle. Plus, it has that special effect where the 4th consecutive M1 attack slams the weapon into the ground, just like the authentic mace. It's a real beast, but you've got to put in some serious work to unlock it, so there you have it, B-tier weapons that, while not the absolute top picks, can still help you make a big splash in your fights. They're solid, fun to use, and might just be the underdog you didn't know you needed. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Kyoru, Hellsword, Bacento, Phoenix Blade, Soul Cane, Scepters of Flame, Apollos, Longavus, and Nightblade. Alright, let's talk about some of the weapons in King Legacy that are just one step below the legendary S tier gear. These weapons are solid choices and can easily carry you through the game. You're not at the top of the food chain with these, but you're still in a pretty good spot. First up, we've got Kyoru. Now, this one is a bit of a grind to get, requiring you to finish Tiger's questline and then cough up $25,000 in-game cash. But trust me, it's worth it. The M1 attack does a solid 1,149 damage without haki. It's got that sleek, long katana look with a purple handle, fluffy crossguard, and a black sheath adorned with white crosses and a red rope. It just feels stylish and strong. Next, let's chat about the Hellsword. This one's an epic weapon, and you get it from King Samurai. With a damage output of 1,635 per M1 attack without haki, it packs a punch. It looks like a classic katana, but with a cool blue and gold handle. It's one of those weapons that makes you feel like a samurai in the middle of a battle. Moving on, we've got the Bacento. Now, if you like a weapon that's a little more unique, this is for you. You can grab it from Quake Woman and it deals a respectable 1,721 damage without haki. It's a Naginata style weapon, so it's got that longer reach with a bigger blade. It's perfect for those who want something a bit more traditional, but still incredibly powerful. If you're into flashy weapons, the Phoenix Blade should be on your radar. It's another epic weapon, obtainable from Ms. Mother. Its M1 attack does 1,635 damage without haki, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. The curved blade, paired with a handle that resembles a phoenix feather, just screams elegance. Plus, it's a great weapon for both style and damage. For a more stealthy vibe, we've got Soul Cane. This one's an epic weapon you get from Sally, and while its M1 damage is a bit lower at 1,463 without haki, it's definitely still a solid choice. It's a thin rapier hidden inside a purple cane, so it's got that sneaky, stylish flair to it. You can almost picture yourself walking through the streets of King Legacy like a mysterious hero, cane in hand. Last but not least, we have Scepters of Flame. This one's a bit more magical in nature, obtained from Hydra. The M1 attack hits 1,463 damage without haki, and it looks like something straight out of a fantasy novel. The fiery orb at the center is just the right touch, making it stand out in any battle. It's perfect if you're into the idea of wielding some fiery magic while looking absolutely majestic. So there you have it. These weapons might not be top tier, but they definitely get the job done. Whether you're swinging a katana, wielding a greatsword, or rocking a magical scepter, these options are perfect for anyone looking to make their way through the King Legacy adventure in style. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Xmas Blade, Pumpkin Smasher, Daybreak Cleaver, Aquatic Anchor, Authentic Triple Katana, Acro Scythe, Muramasa, Sweet Lozenge, Bone Scythe, Acro Spear, and Avalon. Alright, buckle up, because today we're diving into some of the most insane weapons in King Legacy. We're talking about the ones that can absolutely obliterate your enemies in style, the S tier blades that are basically OP. Get ready for some serious weapon envy. Let's kick the things off with a real festive treat. The Xmas Blade. Now, this one's a limited weapon, so if you didn't grab it during the Christmas event, you're out of luck. But if you did, you're rocking one of the coolest one-handed blades in the game. The design? A Christmas tree! Yeah, you heard that right. It's got this amazing tree-like blade that isn't even physically connected to the handle. And don't get me started on its damage. 1,621 M1 attack damage without haki. This thing is ready to wreak some serious havoc. Speaking of Halloween vibes, have you ever laid your hands on the Pumpkin Smasher? If you were lucky enough to snag this beast from Jack-O-Lantern during Halloween, consider yourself blessed. This giant hammer is no joke. It's got a carved pumpkin in the middle and the handle is made from the pumpkin stem. But here's the kicker. If you land 4 consecutive M1s, your hammer will slam into the ground, dealing massive damage. Plus, if you've got the pumpkin head equipped, you'll spawn a jack-o'-lantern to damage your enemies. I mean, who wouldn't want a pumpkin-themed weapon in their arsenal? Next up, we've got the Daybreak Cleaver, an absolute monster from Hydra. This enchanted war axe is not only badass in looks, but also packs a punch with 1721 damage on M1 attacks. At the top of the axe, you'll find a skull from Hydra, which just makes the whole weapon feel more intimidating. Oh, and did I mention the Yggdrasil symbol etched on both sides of the axe head? Talk about adding a bit of Norse mythology to your arsenal. Moving on to something a little more nautical. The aquatic anchor is a weapon you get from Hydra, and let me tell you, it looks like something straight out of the sea. This ship's anchor is powered by blue energy and has this strange moving sea artifact in the middle. Its M1 attack hits for 1135 damage, which isn't too shabby. It's like you're wielding the power of the ocean itself. Now, if you're the type of player who wants a bit of everything, speed, damage, and style, the authentic triple katana might be your dream weapon. This bad boy is a legendary weapon from both Hydra and Sea King, and it's as cool as it sounds. You get 3 katanas, one of which is the Hell Sword, and you wield them like a total boss. 2 in your hands and 1 in your mouth. The M1 attack does 1764 damage, so you're not just showing off, you're delivering some serious damage. For all you scythe lovers, we've got the Acro Scythe. This legendary weapon from Sea King is terrifyingly beautiful. The handle is a long thin horn and the blade is made of flesh-like material. Creepy, right? But here's where it gets even better. It's got a lifesteal effect, so every time you land a hit, you regenerate health. Combine that with its 1764 damage on M1 attacks, and you've got a weapon that not only hurts your enemies but keeps you alive longer in the fight. Let's talk about Muramasa for a second. It's one of those legendary weapons that looks simple at first glance but becomes deadly in your hands. This katana is from King Samurai, and while its M1 damage is only 1506, the real magic happens with the special effects. The molten blade, with its fiery yellow highlights, is a treat for both the eyes and the enemies who dare face it. And for those of you who love candy-themed weapons, no judgment here. We've got the Sweet Lozenge. This two-handed greatsword is a limited weapon you get from Santa, and it's as sweet as it sounds. With a candy cane color scheme and a skull wearing a Santa hat embedded in the handle guard, this is the perfect weapon to add some holiday cheer to your battles. Plus, it does 1121 damage per M1 attack, so it's no slouch when it comes to power either. Ever wanted to wield a bone scythe? Well, this one's another limited weapon from Skull King, and it only comes around during Halloween. The dual-headed scythe is designed with a goat skull, and you actually get to ride on the scythe as you float around. It's pretty much the perfect weapon for those of you who want to look cool while dishing out some serious damage. No official damage number just yet, but trust me, it's definitely in the high tier range. Finally, we've got the Acro Spear, a weapon that can be crafted by a secret NPC in the Third Sea. This legendary spear is in the same terrifying style as the Acro Scythe, with multiple eyes on the spearhead. It also has the lifesteal effect, so you can keep yourself topped off during battle. Just like the Acro Scythe, the Acro Spear has a special M1 effect that teleports you to your target on the 4th consecutive M1. It reduces your damage, but it's still a powerful and stylish weapon to wield. So, there you have it. The top tier weapons in King Legacy that will make you feel like an absolute powerhouse. Whether you're smashing pumpkins, wielding a triple katana, or summoning the ocean's power, these weapons aren't just for looks, they pack a serious punch. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.